And so, as day commences into the night, where it feels like I'm alive most of the time now, we commence part 2, talking about who was I in the past, and how this relates to our interesting little gray friends, and the moon, which is right in front of me suspiciously this time. I had an experience where a cop drove by right as I was going to take a picture of what looked like just a really weird moon. It looked like a harvest moon, but only slightly half full, and I thought, okay, I'm going to take a picture of that. And it was very low on the horizon at a strange time, and I thought, you know what, I know the cycles of the moon here, hello. And I thought, I'm going to take a picture of that. And then suddenly a cop drove by slowly, with his eyes at me, looking at me, and then I tried to take a picture of it, and I literally couldn't find the moon. Yeah, couldn't find the moon in the sky, as if the moon had disappeared out of the sky. And I thought, alright, okay, the moon's disappeared out of the sky. Okay, alrighty. So, with everything to do with the, Friedrich Nietzsche crowd, yes, I wrote awesome books. I have this idea that I'd like to write a book called Christmas Eve. Because, you see, in Dawn of Day, that was where I saw, when I was trapped in South Africa, being harped mercilessly, and didn't know that the chemist that I was working under was actually conspiring to kill me. I read in Dawn of Day myself talking about how I was determined to rediscover whoever I came back to be. And I came back as a female because women have less sex drive. It was really annoying wanting to, thinking like a hypersexual guy. It was really annoying to want to screw everything that moved. So I decided to come back finally as a female that would have a low sex drive, because it's really hard to think if you just want to screw everything that moves. I mean, it is. So that was one of the big factors in the decision. Also, I could see, when you're looking at these potentials, I could see that in this time period, in this place in history where I chose to come into, women have power. And back then, I had to be a guy because a woman philosopher, no one would hear her. But now, all of the New Age leaders are female. So I could see, oh, okay, I've got a win-win. Let me try that one. And also changing the nature of my spirit animals. I was a little bit too dark back then. This is an improvement. People would think, oh my gosh, that girl, you should have seen what she was like. She was a crazy bitch. And I will say, yes, I was. Absolutely. And I was more so insane as a Nietzsche character. I also had play out in my life. Happened very much what happened between Wagner and very much so Wagner and Nietzsche, where Nietzsche never really had a father, just like I never really had a father. And he developed a relationship over a few years with Wagner, and saw him as a genius, and the guy was like a father figure to him. And I had the same thing happen. And it was kind of like, the elite of the world hobnobbing about. That was what I even had it said to me at one point a little bit with all this stuff. And that's why they tried to discourage me from, making a video or trying to stop me. But nope, sorry guys. I'm out here with my cool little electric lamp that I got when I was 16. The age of all the teenagers watching, you guys are awesome because being a teenager is awesome, even though you think you know everything, and you don't. You don't. But you'll figure that out, and then you'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Krista. Whoops. Yeah. Whoops." But that's okay. That's for later. So with the teenagers, how are we going to mobilize you guys? First of all, we need to get you guys to stop, like, alright, you need to focus on what your past lives were, but realize that everyone is one still. So you could have been King whoever, and such this and that, and like me being Nietzsche, or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, that's really cool, but that's not the point. That is a stepping stone to helping you get to the point where you're helping stop World War III, like me, which is awesome. And literally like Star Wars. You can think of it, you have fun with it. You can think of it like Star Wars, with me, it was like the Luke, I am your father thing kept getting played in my head by the reptilians would do that to me, like saying, you were a child of the dark side, you were a child of the dark side, and you're turning away? How dare you? Come with us and reign. And they'd already told me that if you come with us and reign, we're gonna kill you as a sacrifice, and I'm like, guys, excuse me, I'm not falling for it. No, I'm sorry. Just no. Whatever this weird religious stuff you're doing, no. Don't let that supersede your inner voice. You let your inner voice guide you. And that's how like you'll think, okay, let me listen for this. Let me listen for this. All right. But instead of that, let your inner voice feel here, breathe deeply, and then feel from the inside up to the third eye. Feel it spinning in your pineal gland, as if it were spinning. Kind of imagine it spinning. And that's how you're going to know where your path is. Because technically every experience is valid. The experience of the people who are doing Reiki right now to kill me and making voodoo dolls and all that stuff and puppets or whatever the heck they're called, that's totally valid. That's valid too. If your inner voice is telling you murder me, okay, go for it. Awesome. That's the idea. At least that's a very Arcturian idea. And we're going to save the world with it. And so that is that is powerful. We're going to save the world with it by allowing every human to follow their joy and their bliss. Now, one thing, would anyone, okay, I'm sensing there might be some interest in Arcturian channeling. I'm going to do a video later about Arcturian versus a new, as in not really talked about or discovered, extraterrestrial race called Arctuvian. And now I wouldn't believe this, except for there's something really quite different about this young man, and he is already on YouTube. You can find him on Human Colonies videos, a boy named Zachariah. He is a starseed of a race called the Arctuvians. Now, most people that watch the video, you tend to think, if you're Arcturian like me, and I'm actually kind of like a hybrid of sorts there. If you're Arcturian like me, mostly, you think Oh, he must just be getting the letter confused or something, because it feels very Arcturian, but it is actually a different race. Um, and they have an interesting kind of gray relation. So later, I'd like to do a video talking about the difference between these two races, but with this whole fighting the dark side, many of you, I can tell, many of you are Arcturian, who have managed to get this far, this far along, and haven't been attacked by some sort of dark force yet, because you've drawn it into your reality. It's your natural state. You're naturally trying to draw yourselves to what is preferred, to what to what you know this world is supposed to be like, and no matter what kind of aura that you have, say people like me that are the indigos, that we're just like bust stuff up, break stuff apart, even if no matter what kind of aura that you have. I mean, the Indigo Children had their famous name, but it's gonna be the kids after me that really take the reins and make this stuff happen. I could tell. We just kind of bulldozed the way through to start off with. With all of this, with the Arcturians watching, remember to keep yourselves connected to the Galactic Federation of Light. I believe they would like to send a transmission right now. Now, first of all, do not fear the dark forces. We already know that. Now, the second one, I already said this. Do not get angry at them. They want you to, shake your fist up at the moon and curse at them and swear and listen to ugly rap music about it. Don't do that. Guard your heart. And also remember Christ, the teacher. For all the Christians, despite the fact that a lot of that is programming, it was the fact that I had been programmed that got me out of the interesting little concentration camp in Concord, California. The fact that I had the Bible verses drilled into my head, I could just snap back and say, man does not live on bread alone, but only by the word of the living God, when they would poison my food. And I was able to survive on crackers and things like that. Things are going to be changing, and very interesting, very contrasting for people as we continue along this change upon the earth. Those who remain are those who are meant to be here upon the earth. Also, the Cryon material, books, specifically books 1 and book 12, those were the two books that practically saved my life in that little jail. Those two books, you can see the difference between Cryon and those two books. He's a little bit, he's a little bit different in book 1 versus book 12, but I won't talk about that. and start trying to create your own truth. Instead of living in this world of isms, like, okay, this is the philosophy of Krista, and the philosophy of Professor Andromeda. Instead, think to create what you want. If you're seeing this, you're meant to, because trust me, I know what kind of control. Apparently, one of the guys that I pissed off who was trying to kill me, the Wagner of the Nietzsche days, who I walked out on, I did the same thing, where I realized he had horrible views, and I said, hey, I quit this, and apparently he got really hurt, by the whole thing. So if you've had experiences where you have had to turn away from these dark kinds of forces, you're not alone. Sorry, just a minute here. I'm having some transmission difficulties. I hate it when I do this. And honk to, I don't know if you can hear, you guys can hear that, but, and honk, to make fun of me over it. The whole what was I talking about thing. Well, how you can make a difference. Be who you are. That's what I was talking about. Make your own video. Don't be afraid to get on YouTube. Make some kind of art. It doesn't have to be art. If you're a computer coder, do that. If you hear stuff that says, well, you can't be next to, electronics or whatever, but you love movies, still, find a way to do that. Do what you love, and no one can touch you. That's what I'm doing right now. And see my really, really cool electro lamp. Ode to the teenagers out there, my really cool electro lamp that was from ThinkGeek.com, but ThinkGeek.com, kind of sucks now, because they don't have anything, cool like this here anymore, so, yeah. No, ThinkGeek.com. To conclude, I have my fluorite right here from a certain teacher on YouTube, Arcturian, and when it comes in contact with my skin, it still does some weird stuff. It will start to break on the inside as if it's disintegrating, or become cloudy on contact with my skin, and I'll start to feel my bones almost become brittle, and have to take it off. But I can feel it either my body restructuring or myself reprogramming the intent, because some kind of very evil intention was placed upon this thing. I have another bracelet that's like this that I should have in my possession, so I'll go look for that. Also, I've got my little moldavite along the side. Here we go. Well, you can't see it. Well, everything, as a quote I have from an interesting band, life is a beautiful struggle. I think I'll let that conclude my video for now. But I will definitely be back. Blessings. And also have lots of fun from the Ashtar Command. They love having fun up there. They have an arcade on the ship. Yeah, they have it. They don't call it an arcade, but it's like an arcade. It's really cool. I'm sure lots of people all end up seeing them aboard at some point. Much love to all of you. Blessings. Namaste.